Hey guys, welcome to the day 6 of the 31 Days of Horror. And I figured today I'd review this movie I just watched again last night called Nightmare Cinema. Just came out, I think, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, but it's an anthology film helmed by Mick Garris. He had another idea for another TV show, and of course they didn't let it happen, so he decided to make all the people he wanted it do a little short for the movie. So you get I'll get into the stories as they go along and who directed them. But there's a wraparound. Basically, it's like a theater. Mickey Rourke plays this projectionist slash like storyteller type thing, and he basically shows these people that wander into his theater their death on the theater screen, and that's what leads into the stories. And the very first story you get is let me see here, is Alejandro Bruges, who did One of the Dead. It's basically like a setup of slashers. It starts like in the climax of a slasher when the killer's killing everybody, and he's pretty badass looking welder dude, and he's killing off everyone one by one. And then there's kind of like a twist that comes out of nowhere that pretty much shocked me, and I like the twist a lot. Some of the effects were a little dodgy, but it is low budget, so you do see some kind of faults in the effects, but that's pretty much the only problem. But yeah, it was a pretty good story, and you got some good gore. It kind of, the twist made it, elevated it better to what a normal slasher would be. And then you're leading into the second story, which is from Joe Dante, who did Gremlins and all that. It's basically a girl. She has a scar on her face, and she's feeling ugly. And the husband, or her fiance, offers to pay for all the plastic surgery she wants to make her happy. So she ends up going to this really sketchy clinic and all that. And basically, there's some little twists and turns there, and the clinic's not all it's cracked up to be. So there's that story. It was pretty good. It was actually one of my favorite ones. The first one was okay. It was decent. The second one was a little better. I liked the second one a lot. And then the third one was from the Kitamura guy, Ryuhi Kitamura. He did Versus and Midnight Meat Train. It's kind of like this priest. He runs this like convent or something, and these kids are being possessed. And like I said, I don't want to give away the twist because it's better, in my opinion, if you go into this movie not really knowing anything. And that story is where this cover demon comes into play, and there's some scenes where the demon looks pretty freaky. Like there's one shot where she's looking down the hallway and it's all dark in her house or in the convent, and she sees this demon thing kind of in the shadows. It was pretty well done. And then there's a lot of kids that die in this story too, which was kind of shocking to me. And it was my least favorite story in the whole thing, but I still dug it. And then the next story was from David Slade, who did 30 Days of Night and all that, and basically it's black and white, and it has one of the actresses from Haunting of Hill House, and she does a really good job acting in it. But it's a really interesting story. She has like some kind of mental disorder or something. You're not really told what she has wrong with her, but she sees like everybody as deformed people, and every building is gross, and even the ending, that story left me wanting more because still wasn't sure what the hell was going on, but I liked the cinematography of it, and the ending I thought was really cool. The only downer about that is I wanted to know what was going on with it. And then the last story is kind of like a Sixth Sense type thing. This kid, he's like a musical prodigy. He ends up getting shot, and his family ends up getting shot, and he ends up going to this hospital, and he basically sees dead people. And that was a really well done story too. It was the only story that I really didn't care for was actually the Midnight Meat Train director's one with the convent. It was just too over the top and goofy. But all the other ones I thought were really strong. But even the one by the Midnight Meat Train director, it's short and you get some good gore, some good scenes in it, so it's not a complete waste. Like this anthology is better than any anthology of recent years as far as like indie stuff like this goes. It's a Shudder original, so I don't know, but yeah, the last story Mick Garris did it, and it feels Mick Garris like, especially towards the end, it felt kind of like a riding the bullet kind of knockoff type thing. It definitely feels like Mick Garris's work. And then it all wraps up and has a cool shot with all these film canisters, and you kind of realize he's like collecting souls and stuff, the Mickey Rourke guy. And it's a 2 hour long movie. It flies by though. There's gore, you know what I mean? Not There wasn't a single shot of nudity, shockingly, the more I think about it. But yeah, the effects were good for everything but that first story. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think when this came out on Blu-ray, it was $12.99 at Best Buy, and last time I was at Best Buy, this was still there for $12.99. I know the DVD is available for like $10 at Walmart, but I highly recommend the Blu-ray, only because a lot of the outside scenes look stunning. Like for some moments, I thought I was watching a 4K because this Blu-ray looks shockingly good. I was blown away with how good the Blu-ray looks. So if you're gonna get it, definitely spend the extra $2 or $3 and pick up the Blu-ray. It's definitely worth it. But anyways, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.